Hey, it's Jarren. Today I'm going to cover some of the new updates that we have on the Emra platform. I'm going to make a habit of posting these videos pretty frequently. We do a changelog every single week, but for the most part, I haven't updated here directly. So first off, let me just give you a high-level overview of Emra as a whole. Emra is a place where you can create AI-generated applications, but then they also live within a workspace of your choosing. So you can basically build out your own connected universe of apps. Now, we are still working on a lot of messaging and the way that we communicate this product. This is still very early for us. So we have, I would say, a polished product. We're paying a lot of attention to the design and the user experience, but also it's not as mature as we'd like it to be, and we're still not feature complete. So we are launching in early access. As a matter of fact, I'll actually show you the upcoming landing page, and this is a landing page that we're swapping to. We'll be showing off highlighted apps and some features around them. This is information that is all reflective of the development environment, so it's not going to look this messy, but we're essentially trying to showcase the fact that this is a space where you can create your own connected applications. And I would say the way to understand this is to think of something like Notion, and then also think about AI-generated apps. So AI-generated apps that you can use inside of a workspace that feels like Notion in some ways. And let me show you what that looks like. So this is my personal Emra homepage, and this will be changing and updating over time. We haven't completely landed on the exact experience. You can customize the home screen by adding different backgrounds. I have a video background playing with some color changes and everything on the background. These apps are each standalone applications, but that they can all share the same database layer. So the way that you build them and use them can change depending on your use cases. So Clever Notes is one of the apps that's available in the App Store. You can check that on the Discover page and see all of the different apps that we have at the moment. And these are ones that we've built and maintain here. Now, at any point in time, one of the fun things is you can edit these apps and make changes to them as you see fit. So for example, if I go into Clever Notes, this one is a sort of Notion clone. It is a way for you to create pages and then pages within those pages, and I can write information here. But at the same time, I can then also view the parent pages and see everything related to that. It's slightly different. The pages don't appear inline. They appear as blocks here, but then we also have databases as well. So I have a database here with card view and tables. I can add different statuses and make changes. And again, at any point in time, any user, you, could click the edit button, come in here, and then start to make changes. And this actually brings us to the second part of Emra, which is the builder environment. Now, realistically, I think that people will be using apps more frequently than they will be creating their own apps. So we're actually working on moving this builder component out of the homepage. And the homepage will eventually be a little bit more like a desktop environment. We'll add widgets and some other features that make it feel a little bit more personalized. But for the time being, you can go in here and ask for any type of feature. We also have a prompts section in the Discover page that allows you to grab a couple of example prompts. And at the moment, I find the most valuable things are ones that are pretty long. So most of the time right now with this current version of Emra, I use something like Claude to come up with a better prompt for an AI app builder, and then I build it here. So in here, this is the builder view, and what you're going to see is an agent that starts to work and create this app. And this is going to take a couple of minutes. Now, one of the fun things is that this is something that works in the background. So as you can see, this app is still building. If I close this tab, if I move to a different device, this is all still available there. So it's very much so meant to be the easiest way to build an app possible. You can see the app is running in the background. I'll show you a couple of other apps that exist inside of my workspace. Toronto Canvas is a Figma-esque canvas, and I use this pretty often to design different things. So I've built out mood boards, and I look at different ways to come up with marketing copy, and sometimes I just add different little text elements and things here. This is basically just a scratchpad canvas. It's not feature complete compared to what you get from Figma, but I will say it is actually very useful. And one of the other benefits is because this is available anywhere, we also have mobile support right away. So this app also works on mobile, and I will say it's actually very pleasant to use. So I, more often than not, do pull this up on mobile and quickly spin up something. It's nice to have a canvas, and I find that this one is very useful. I'll show you a couple of other example apps that I have. Memento is one that I've been working on, and this is probably one of the most visually appealing apps that we've worked on so far. Memento is meant to be an environment where you can be fully immersed in a writing experience. So you are journaling or writing anything, but at the same time, we have like a 3D model here, a moving background. Eventually, we'll add sound effects and some other 3D models. So you can basically build out your own creative environment. And I think it's really meant to be completely different than what you normally get out of a writing app. Now, to be fair, this is not friendly on your battery life. So this will kill my computer in like 2 hours if I'm running on battery. So I do have to be careful, but I'm really a fan of Memento, and I am excited to continue supporting this for a long time. Again, if you want to make changes, though, you can also just click edit at any point in time. When you have an app inside of Emra, you have the ability to make changes and remix at any point. So you can go in and ask for a change, and all of those things will be applied right away. Let's go take a look at ThoughtSpace. It's still building, and you can see that there are a couple of steps that are still being worked on. So we will leave it there for now, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes. We also have a system-wide search function that currently just works to search the apps. We are working on searching within apps. That's going to come later. But when I have trouble finding an app, a lot of my apps are example apps that I've built. I have a collection of high-value ones and also a collection of example ones. So I will search specifically for Video Studio. This is my video editing tool. And this one, for example, allows me to build out an entire video editing pipeline. And right now it does have to download the media, but this is a complete video editor here. I can move around the canvas, I can add text, and there are so many different capabilities. This is, again, a full video editor that's running inside of Emra right now, and this is also just running inside of my browser. We will have a desktop app at some point in time, but right now this is a browser-level workspace. So this is the editor. This was maybe not the best example. Here's one with many different layers. And also, this one works on mobile as well. So again, very much a holistic experience for apps. Both of these are Toronto Canvas, and this one, Video Studio, are both available inside of the Discover tool. So if you want to use those examples, you can. Another one here is Inspo Board. This one is just a visualization of inspiration photos. And I think this one's very fun. You can just drag in new images if you want, and it's a great way to preview different things. I use a version of this. I've created a duplicate. So one of the things that you can do is you can grab one and create a duplicate and then experiment. So I actually have a duplicate here for my family photos, and it's actually a very pleasant experience just to leave open on a screen somewhere and see my family photos scrolling by. I really like that. Another one that highlights, I think, some of the more immersive experiences is this one's called Task Flux, and this is a very cyberpunk-esque task reminder, and it also has sound effects too. That is a lot of fun. But when you hover over everything, there's little flicker effects, and every time I click something, it interacts with the UI in a fun way. You can change different rankings and adjust things. This one also looks really good on mobile. I like that experience a lot. So as I've mentioned, there are system-level capabilities, and those are things that we are working on implementing right now. I have most of them running on my development environment locally, but it does give you the ability to then link from different databases or apps inside of the space into other things. So for example, my Notes app here has many different entries. And then I also have tags inside of my Notes app, and I've made a visualizer like this. So I have these little star systems, and it shows all the different planets that orbit around one of those tags. And you could see me doing something like this across my entire workspace. I think another good example of what the workspace will look like as we connect is showing off something like a storefront, and then also having a back of house where you're managing the different inventory amounts of products that you have. It's a great way to build different connected experiences. And also, I think if you are working in a team workspace, it's a great way for you to have different filtered views for different people on your team as you're building out these different application experiences. Right now, productivity is actually a really good example of the type of experiences you can build. We have the ability to move around different tasks and Kanban boards. This one has a table view and a calendar view, but there are also 3D environments as well. Again, you can build pretty much anything here. So this is a great example of a fully functional chess app that I really enjoy using. I'm going to lose my queen. Just let it happen. It's okay. And because you can customize it, you can do anything you want here. Speaking of customization, let's go look at the app that's finished building. ThoughtSpace has now finished building. And as we look inside, we see pages, Let's go look at the prompt just to make sure we know what we actually built. A personal wiki that feels like my own quiet corner for thinking. Whenever I type page name, it becomes a real clickable link that carries me straight to that page. So let's create a new page. Call this to-dos, tasks. Oh, it does have to be a page name. Okay. Let's say, I guess we didn't add tasks, so we could do that later. Let's say buy milk, mow the grass, take out trash. Now, things I'm seeing is like I have to click done, so maybe I don't want that to happen. I could link to other pages. This one's called to-dos. Let's make a new one. I'm also seeing it's not updating on the side right away. And I'm seeing for some reason I'm not getting these pages working. So this is okay. Things are expected. One, we're still in early access, so it's early on. And then also we are generating complete applications from the start here. So I'll just actually take note of a couple of things that aren't working and we'll improve from there. Right now I'm seeing that the title doesn't update immediately on the sidebar when I change it. And also I have to click done to save the note, which is not ideal. It should just always be editable. Additionally, when I create a new page and it says untitled, I click on it and I keep getting a message that this page doesn't exist. So for some reason, the new pages that I create aren't working. Please fix these issues. This is the best part about creating software like this. Any issues that you have, you can just ask for fixes. And if you aren't the best at explaining it, the AI mostly can solve a lot of those edge cases. So as long as you explain some of the friction points that you're running into, these problems will increasingly be resolved. And the best part is, if you don't want to go through this hassle on your own, you can just grab a functioning app from the Discover page. So again, Clever Notes is a really good example of a app that does work and is usable. You can implement a bunch of things here. Another app that we have inside of Emra is called Layer Deck, and it is like a Canva clone. It's a good place to build both marketing content and slide decks. Any of the simple graphic design tools that you might want to use can exist here as well. Now, given that Emra is early access, let's make a simple Scratchpad page that has a nice background and then just slightly large, sort of like header 2 sized text in a centered column that I can basically use as an example roadmap. I don't want any other copy on the page. I just want it to show the cursor so I can like type things. And then as I type, it just goes to I can press enter to go to a new line. And so I can essentially build like a little, not like a whiteboard canvas, but I basically just want to use it as a place to write things really quickly and show it off in a call. So ThoughtSpace has finished editing. We can see that it's made some fixes. Let's click into it and view the entire application. Let's call this one Summer Sun. We're going to link to the to-dos page. And now you see to-dos have been linked. This is great if I want to use a very specific copy. I personally like to reference things a little bit more easily. So for example, in my Notes app, I have our ceramics one, and I can actually add tags here. So I just add something like, and then that turns into a tag that can be referenced later. So it really just depends on exactly how you want to do this. But the best part about Emra is that this space is much more flexible and malleable than the software that we are used to in the past. So for example, I can just talk to the agent, and if I want to make connections between different applications, all I have to do is ask for it. And I can actually use references that are native to those applications, and I don't have to be as rigid with the structure. I like to think of Emra as a sandbox environment for productivity tools or just software in general. Increasingly over time, this is a great way for you to build an application. And then also, we handle all of the logistics around authentication and security, scalability, making sure it's available on every single device. All of these things come into play as we're building out Emra. And one of the things that excites me so much is I think it's very much so like the next generation of how we build software. Over the next few years, more people than ever before will be developing their own software, and we won't really think about it because it will look like this. This is a place right now for people to tinker and experiment and also build early versions of useful apps. But over the next coming months, we will be building in so many features that add to the capabilities of these applications. So if you want to see integrations with other services, that's coming soon. Or if you want to share with teams and work together in a workspace, that's also coming as well. We're really excited about our roadmap here, and I can't wait to show you what we have coming up next. This is another app that I just made really quick, and this is a perfect example of a quick little app that doesn't have to be used for too many more things than a simple Scratchpad. So I could say something like, Teams are coming soon. We'll also be adding different AI and existing service connections, so you could build your own AI chat applications, or let's say you wanted to build an image generator application, you could do that as well. I'm personally very excited to build a digital audio workstation and then send it out to AI services at certain times. I'm really excited to basically turn what we know as software into a sandbox experience. Think about something like Minecraft. It's very malleable, and the general shape of it is blocks. Here, it's very malleable, and the general shape of it is an idea. It's very much like a productivity tool that you can take as far as you want. If you wanted to build a productivity tool that also was a 3D application, you could definitely do that. That's one of the reasons I'm so excited about Memento, for example. This is the type of software that never would have existed because it's not really commercially viable in the same way as a large enterprise application. This is the type of software that will have a small community around it, and that's fine because it's enough. It's something that's useful for me and a team or friends, and I think that these software services and tools like this over time will be far more popular. They're going to have so many more use cases because now everyone's going to be building their own software for their own community. I will say that in some ways this is easier than traditional software development, but it's also harder than maintaining just your Notes app. If you think about Notion, there's a lot of work that you have to do in order to make Notion smooth. You have to build out all the different pages. You have to check boxes and uncheck them. You have to create buttons that uncheck them. You have to manually add dates and customize things. If you're going from Notion to Emra, you're going to have a fantastic experience because you already know what it looks like to take on some responsibility for building your own tools. But if you're coming from something like Apple Notes, it's very likely that you're going to want to grab an app inside of the Discover space and just work within those until you find something that you want to change. I think that is very much the natural path of progression. As much as Emra is a good space for builders, I also think it's generally a better path for everyone moving forward, for us to have software that adapts to us. I think it's far more respectful as well. For example, we're not forced to push updates to everyone. So if you're used to the type of app that you have and you want it to stay that way forever, it can do that. This is one of the benefits of the way that we're building Emra. If you're the type of person that doesn't want to worry about maintaining software, Emra will work for you. As a matter of fact, over time, your app can stay exactly the same, and you don't have to worry about a company pushing a bunch of updates that's going to make changes to the apps that you use. And that is the big feature of Emra. Increasingly over time, all of the apps that exist inside of Emra, which, by the way, are just websites, they will never change unless you ask them to, unless you want them to. So really, the ownership is on you, and I think that gives so much more power to everyone because now we have software that can be customized to our use cases, and it doesn't have to just be the average of everyone. If you think about what the tools that we use on a regular basis are, they're tools that are designed very well, but they're designed very well for everyone. And increasingly, we can have these tools that are designed very well, and they're also designed very well for you. And that's what's really exciting to me about Emra. Anyway, these are the early days of what we're building here. I hope you got a taste of what it looks like to build custom software. I would encourage you to check out Emra. It's available for free. You can just sign up and download a couple of apps from the App Store. Increasingly over time, we'll be adding the ability to download your own apps and add teams and sharing features. There's so much more capability right around the corner. But that said, it's still a fun place to work today. And I come to Emra every single day to work on notes and to track status of projects and to design things and also to look at family photos. It's a really fun place to build software, and it's also just a fun place to use technology. With that said, I'll share more in the coming days and weeks, and I hope you have a great day.